Chris, what is our first main topic today?
First topic is from David. Hey, John. Did you see Sony posted a new slightly extended version of Jonah Jameson's Far From Home post-credit
Jonah
scene?
Jameson's.
Oh, did I say it? Did I say Johanna? Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys. Oh, everyone in the chat's going to yell at me.
Chris, oh my gosh.
She's a fake geek girl and we hate her even more now. What'd you think? Do you still think the unmasking of Spider-Man will be solved off camera? Do you think that's going to still be solved off camera?
Yeah, so here's the thing. We all, of course, know that one of the best post-credit scenes in comic book movie history they did with Spider-Man Far From Home, with the whole return of J.K. Simmons. And it's so funny because I've said for years, I have this thing about reboots. When you reboot, you don't bring back actors. You don't bring them back unless they're going to play a different role, but you don't bring them back. If you reboot, you reboot. And I've said for years, I have two exceptions to that. One, James Earl Jones as Mufasa if you ever redo Lion King. Two, J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson if you ever do that again. And I've been saying that for like 7 years, and now they have both come to pass just in the last year. So I was thrilled seeing him in there. Everybody got a big kick out of it. And of course, they did a lot of ooh and ah and stuff like that. And it was a great shot. So Sony, for those of you who missed it, Sony just released yesterday a longer cut, and you just find it on YouTube, a longer cut of that J. Jonah expose video that he put out, praising Mysterio as the greatest superhero of all time and how the people of America are going to rise up against this menace Spider-Man and all this kind of stuff. And it was a lot of fun and it was really good. That brings up what they were asking the question. In light of this re-release and a little bit more emphasis on this revelation, do I still believe that this isn't going to be the point of the next movie? Because I said before that I believe, and it very well could be, the next Spider-Man movie, whatever it's called, the next Spider-Man movie very well could be about dealing with the aftermath of what J. Jonah Jameson said in the post-credit scene of Spider-Man Far From Home. It absolutely could be. That said, I suspect that it's not going to be an issue at all. I suspect they're going to have a quick one-line reference to it's like, whoo, thank goodness Nick Fury released that government footage proving that was a fake story. And then they're going to move on with the real thing. We have seen several times that something potentially significant happens in a Marvel post-credit scene that is then just completely brushed over later with a quick reference or whatever, and they just move on with the story they do want to tell. I do not think the Spider-Man filmmaker should be beholden to their entire movie because of what they put in a post-credit scene in a previous film. I still do believe it's going to be dealt with off-screen. Now, don't misquote me. I am not sitting here saying that's absolutely what's going to happen. Clearly, it's still a very viable possibility that the post-credit could become the basis of the next movie. I just still think it won't. Anyway, Aaron, did you have a chance to see this extended clip? And do you think they're going to base the next movie on this?
I did not see the extended clip because I'm a bad girl and I did not do my homework. However, I hear what you're saying and I agree with you. I think that the post-credit, those to me are the oh shit moments that make you want to go see the next one. It's like you feel like, okay, we've had our climax, we've had our denouement, we've had the roller coaster of emotions of the film, and we're all ready to go home and be like, that was done. And then, wha-bam, they all of a sudden go, but wait a minute, there's more. And that's the thing that makes you excited to see the next movie. But 100%, the filmmakers should not be beholden to whatever that little Easter egg is. I think that's really just the hook that brings you into the next film. And I would not be surprised if that's something that, like you said, is glossed over, and then moving on with the full story.
Chris, what do you think about all that?
Oh man, first of all, seeing the whole extended thing was wonderful because
it was great to see.
Oh, I love JK so much. I saw him pumping gas once next to me and I was such a nerd and I just stared at him and I couldn't talk and he just was like, "Hi, how are you?" And I was like, "Ah!" And then I got in my car and called my dad. It was probably one of the most uncool moments of my life. And there were a lot of those. But I loved everything about this. I don't know if you can solve all of this off screen. I really don't, because that was quite the bombshell. And also, we've talked about this in the past when we were talking about the Sony and Marvel kind of merger and disassociation, all of that, of how were we going to get Peter back with the Avengers in any way, shape, or form. And we talked about, gosh, this is a PR nightmare. The optics of having a child as part of your team, let alone a murderous child, that's not great. So I think there's so many big issues here that we have to handle on screen, because what an A-bomb to drop on the entire franchise.
Listen, I think there are hundreds of ways you could do it. And I can think of two right off the top of my head. One, again, I just explained, hey, man, thank goodness Nick Fury released that government footage that disproved it. That's it. Done. Or one of the viewers wrote in and say, you know what? Just have Nick Fury get a Skrull to pose as Peter as Spider-Man flies into the shot too. They're both there at the same time. Done. It's so easy to do it.
But that's not as satisfying.
But I don't know. It's a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I do.
Yeah.
It's a post-credit scene. Remember at the end of like that one Iron Man film, he's like, that just said, I'm done as Iron Man. Oh, they've taken the arc reactor out. What do we see next? A few months later, opening of Avengers, Age of Ultron. There he is as Iron Man. No explanation. Didn't talk about it. They just gloss over it. It didn't really matter. Listen,
We're talking about this scene and it was extended, so I think it does matter.
I think the post-credit scene is there to be a fun little addition. It's not meant to set an imperative of where your narrative for the next movie has to go. It can be a reflection of it, but I just don't think that's what they're going to do.
I look
but
at it
it's
as
very
a teaser,
possible.
as a like, hey, guess what? There's going to be more.
Yeah, because again, you
We're
do
not
what
done
the
here.
viewer said yesterday. The viewer wrote in and said yesterday, this is solved in 2 minutes. Skrull shows up as Peter Parker somewhere as Spider-Man's fighting some villain, and you can see them both at the same time. And Nick Fury released footage showing that Mysterio was lying. Oh, and by the way, the interdimensional hero. All it's going to take is somebody going, actually, I've got a file here. This guy was an employee at Stark Industries. He was lying. That's all it's going to take.
Right.
That's all it's going to take. And you can move past it. But I acknowledge, Chris, there is still a very viable
I just
possibility
like
here
what
they
I like,
could do
John.
it. No, you can't. I'm not trying to yuck on your
But
yum,
here's
as you would
what's
say.
also
But they
great
can
about it
do
is that you
No, but
have
that all makes
is that
sense.
they have the option of going with that.
Oh,
if,
exactly.
if the viewers go, oh my God, this is an incredible way for the movie to go, and we really like this, and this
Yeah.
is then all of a sudden the writers can go, okay, well, we're going to explore this more and make this more of the basis of our next film.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, what do you think they're going to do about that? Jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.